Hello there, I'm TechDave and I'm back sooner than expected with the episode regarding the upgrade of my T430. It is currently upgraded to the 16 gigs of RAM already, but I'll show you how to install it if that's of interest to you. But I also received today the quad-core i7, what I'm hoping is, because I haven't actually installed it yet, the 3840QM, and the Delta fan, or the one basically with the GPU die, as well as the, it's got a little thermal paste on it, but I'm going to remove that. I don't know if you can see that clearly. So I got this fan, hopefully it's the right one and improves thermals, because at the moment it's not going that great with thermals in general. And then I'm going to be pasting with Arctic MX4, because it's what I've got and it's actually really good. I just redid my GPU with it. And here's some tools that came with the CPU fan. The only thing I haven't received yet still is my eGPU, but you may see this at the second half of the video, or because I'm eager to get this video done, I might do it as a two-part. So you'll, depending on what happens, this may be two parts or just one. And yeah, so I'm going to switch over to screen capture, and we're going to sort of dive into the we're going to dive into an initial performance test of the T430. As it's currently got the 16 gig 2133 megahertz RAM. Then we're going to do a performance test using Passmark. We're going to upgrade the CPU, do another performance test. Then, if I got the courage, we're going to do the IVRM BIOS mod and overclock the CPU, depending what the thermals look like after the upgrade. So, stick around to find out more. So here we are on the T430, and as you can see, I've got Passmark open. Here it is. As you can see with the CPU thermals, they're not doing so hot as it is. It's on 50 degrees just idling, so I predict that the thermals are going to improve dramatically. But the current CPU anyway is the Intel Core i5-3320M CPU at 2.6 GHz, one socket, 2 cores, 4 threads. As you can see, it's turboing now. I'm not quite sure why it's turboing. Oh, it's just the benchmarking software. Yeah, and it's already got, as you can see here, 2133 megahertz RAM, 16 gigabytes. But the CPU, I'm not overly impressed with it. It's a dual core i5 basically, so that's why I sort of thought I'd go through this process. Now, in theory, I can just run this and speed it up. So I will leave the benchmark running, and then either it will fade in and out between the two, or you'll see it sped up. So here we go. All tests. So here we are on the Passmark rating. We've got 1331.2. So the CPU 15th percentile, 2D graphics 25th percentile, 3D graphics 9th percentile, memory mark 42nd percentile, and disk mark 19th. So I'm gonna submit this. Oh, okay, it won't let me. Okay, but yeah, basically, so we're scoring quite weak. CPU weak. 3D graphics weak, disk mark weak, 2D graphics weak, memory mark not too bad. So the upgrade to the RAM makes quite a big difference by the looks of it. But yeah, the general, it's in the red. It's quite a weak computer. So that's the 16th percentile, and that's pretty much. Let's have a look. Yeah, so it's not doing great at the moment, but I've done this recently. That's why it said that I couldn't redo the benchmark with it. But it gives a rough indication of where we're at. The memory is the only thing that's staying, and that's not doing too bad. So it's obviously losing to all of these. But what have we got here? Where's the comparable? 16 gig DDR4 is not much ahead, so it's not actually that bad. Because it's comparing us to DDR4. But yeah, so I'm relieved to a certain degree that that's how it's looking. So the next thing we need to do is get this bad boy taken apart and install the CPU and the new fan and cooling system. So I'll be back with a better angle for that. Okay, so here we are, we've got the T430. Now I'm going to remove a few things now so that there's no risk. I'm going to take this out because I'm probably going to do the iVRAIN mod quite soon afterwards. I've removed battery and external hard drive. Probably going to remove the wireless WAN card that I put in here as well, which you'll see in a minute. This isn't a tutorial, and I'm actually using the Lenovo Thinkpad T430 CPU upgrade video by Sebi's Random Tech. He's a great guy for mods. If you haven't checked him out, please do. He knows quite a bit about the old ThinkPads, and he's got a whole channel pretty much dedicated to it. And as you can see here, underneath here, we've got the wireless WAN card. Now, I don't have a screw in there, so that should just be a case of popping this off. I'm really nervous and really excited at the same time. So I'm just going to remove that so it doesn't get fried during the iVRAIN process, save me doing it again later on. I think next we remove this screw, which is, I should see if I can get in a bit closer. Let's get a better angle going on here. There we go, we've got the ThinkPad. Also, you can see in the background here I've got the new CPU fan, new CPU, random tools, MX4 cleaning cloth to get all the junk off there. Right, according to Sebi's Random Tech, I believe it is. He's a good lad anyway, I like his stuff, and he's quite interactive in the community. So there's one screw there, there's another screw here. I think, so on his video, he removed the full pad, so this might not be all I need to do. He removes the, so that's enough to remove the keyboard, I think anyway, unless I've missed something. Hold on, I'll be back in just double check. But yeah, so I didn't need to remove any more screws just yet. So you remove the keyboard gently under here. I don't know if you can see that. There's a little pull tab, and you've got to get it from the top, just here. Remove the keyboard. Now I think I may have to crack this off to get under here. So I'm gonna flip her over. But yeah, I'm not doing this as a tutorial, that's the main thing. This is just sort of edutainment almost. So for that, I believe we need to remove quite a few different screws to get the fascia off the front. I can't remember what they call it now. But I'm just gonna unscrew every screw I can see and put them to one side. So I'll be back once I've done. So I've removed all the screws. So there's the long screws, the medium screw, and the short screws. So I've kept them separate, so I can recall, basically so that when we've got the screw types they're all together. I removed this as well just to make sure, because I don't know whether that needs to be done, but I just removed as much as possible for the interests of safety. Flipping the laptop now, because what you have to do next, and again I think I've been quite explicit, but this isn't a tutorial video. I'm not teaching you how to do it. It's more just to show you that I'm doing it. You've got to remove this fascia. Now I didn't see any other screws. Hold on. So I'm going to remove this and then I'll be back. So what I've done so far, I got this little edge. You meant to use plastic ones, but I think I got away with it without breaking any tabs. And just worked this off. So in theory now, it should, but be mindful for the trackpad connector. I don't want to pull the motherboard out either. I think, yeah, there's one screw missing. So, something I didn't realise, because it wasn't featured in Sebi's tech video, there's a screw here, holding the fascia on. So I'm glad I didn't pull that, because I might snap that plastic. So be mindful of that. And another one here. And I can already see that the CPU upgrade, the fan upgrade will be worthwhile, because, there we go, that should just lift off now. Let's carefully, I don't know how much of this you can see, from the angle. It looks alright. But again, I'm going to emphasise this for the last time and then I'll stop saying it. It's not a tutorial video. It's more for your entertainment. But yeah, I can see here that it's the CPU fan there, which you can see just here, has the heat pipe for the GPU. This one doesn't. So we're definitely at least got an improved CPU fan and heatsink for our purposes. Let's see, don't break it. I've undone that screw, so that should pop off here, but it's not. Sorry about my head in the way. You can see me slowly losing my hair, no doubt. Let's see, get out of the way. Right. Might speed this up. Any other screws in there? Oh, I missed one set of screws. How silly of me. So I missed this second row here. So there's two at the top I took out, but this second row here, the screws, I did not remember to remove. So let's do that. Stop recording while I'm doing it. So lesson learned there, check all the screws on the back. Basically every screw that you can remove needs to be removed for this process by the looks of it. Now, am I going to break something else by doing this? So we've got this here that can be lifted up. Let's lift that. So just in there, right there, is the trackpad and track point removable part. I'm a bit worried about this. If I put that right the way down, and does that crack up, or am I going to break it? I'm sure if you've done this before and you're watching this, you're like, what are you doing, mate? Which would be a reasonable response. Let's just check one more time for screws. No other screws left in the entire device. Okay, I'm going to crack it. In fact, actually, I'll be back. 1 second. Right, job done. So there was another screw, see just there, but it's under my Windows 10 license, which is annoying as shit because it's a refurbished machine. So it has a second license under the battery, and I don't want to lose that. So suffice it to say, we moved on to the next stage. There's a little screw there that needs removing. Here we have a speaker module. This is what we need to remove next, which is seemingly straightforward. There's one big screw there, so we won't forget what that's for. Let's see if it gently pries out. And there we go. Let's just put that out the way here. And the next comes the challenging part, right? Gently remove this. Let's get some gentle pliering on the go so we get an even removal. No, okay. What I'm doing is trying to remove the CPU fan here. I don't want to pull on the wires. Take my time over it. Just because I'm filming doesn't mean it's going to go wrong. Just don't want to break it, you know? You know, guys? Just don't want to break it. Because I might be able to resell this fan. Actually, it looks like it's coming pretty loose now. Don't do that though, that's a bad idea. Might be able to see my head again, sorry. Right. What have we got in here that can do it? We've got a spudger here. I'll show you. This may be useful. Just a little thing that might be useful to get the CPU fan out. This came with the CPU fan kit. Oh, don't rip off the motherboard, I'll kill you. don't rip it off the motherboard. That's still attached. Good. Needless to say, that was stressful. So now we're here. We need a flathead screwdriver. Should have the equivalent here. Oh no, we don't need that. So the next thing to do is to remove 4, 3, 2, 1, the screws. I think you just unscrew them one by one in that order. So 4, 3. If I'm messing this up, feel free to comment. It's on my head though, it's my device at the end of the day. 2. So I know you're just seeing hands, but I'm just unscrewing the CPU basically. That I think is it removed. Let's see, does it come up? Oh, it's set number 4, which is the first one I did, which is annoying. Doesn't seem to be unscrewing, which is unnerving. We don't want to thread the screw, otherwise I really am fucked. There we go. Is that actually turning? No, it's not. Alright, that's why I didn't work. There we go. Alright, we have one CPU fan assembly removed. That is dry as fuck, no wonder it was overheating. So, yes, I'm going to have a little second to relax before I do this, so I'll be back. So after a much needed cigarette, that was quite nerve wracking, especially doing it on camera. We need to get a flathead screwdriver, find that, and then turn it to the unlocked position like that. And then in theory, our CPU, no, just fully unlock it, there we go. There we go, it's a bit more than I expected. And then, this is a bad idea. Oh, yeah. Remove the old CPU, keeping mindful that that goes in that corner there. Now we've got our new CPU. I'm going to do a quick CPU swap in my hands. Find the arrow, there's some cheap thermal paste that came with it. And the arrow is there, so we need that to be the other way around. So it goes in. Stupid fat fingers. Goes in like that. There we go. Don't touch the CPU. Is that sitting how it should? Yes. Nerve wracking. And then we turn this back to the locked position. Make sure it's seated. It is. Oh. Can't tell on camera, but I'm shaking from this. I'm so excited though. So now we've got that lined up, I'm just going to quickly, because the CPU fan came with pre-installed thermal paste, which is squidgy, pasty and dry. It would do the job, but we don't need it. I'm going to remove that there as well. So I'm just going to quickly polish that up. What I've got with my MX4, I got this little cleaning cloth, a Noctua NAC1 cleaning wipe, so I'm going to clean it off with that. And then I'll polish the actual top of the CPU die, this bit, as well in a sec. So I'll do that and then I'll be back. So that's been alcohol wiped. You see it's a bit tarnished, there's a bit of a stain on it. Bring it out. But it's fine. I'm going to leave that there because it seemed quite stuck down and I didn't see the point because it's going to be hovering over this space here anyway, so there's no problem it having thermal paste on it. Now I've got to fit the CPU. So we've got MX4 thermal compound by Arctic. Can't get the lid off, I must have left it a little bit loose. There we go. Got the lid off. And what I'm going to do is do a little dollop, and then I'm going to spread that with this piece of packaging. I don't know whether this is a good idea. This is what I'm going to do. Just a gentle spreading onto the surface of the CPU. Not going perfectly, but considering how nervous I am, this is going quite well. And then I'm going to put another blob right in the centre here. Maybe a bit overkill, but you know, if it's your upgrade, you put the amount of thermal paste on that you want to. And put that over here so I don't risk spilling coffee. So, we spread some thermal paste. We've got a little dollop in the middle that will spread out onto the die. Now to reinsert the CPU fan, which goes in like that by the looks of it. Just there. I'll get that side in first. This is a bit tricky. It's actually got a little holder for those cables there, so that's cool. I'm going to take my time over it. I can always speed the footage up, just reminding myself more than anything. That goes there, it also goes under. Okay, let's just move these away. Take your time, Davey. Take your time. Doesn't quite fit. I'm worried about these cables coming undone and the screen not working. But there we go. It's coming together. Maybe that's in the way. Slightly. Right, I need to get my head in the way, so I'm just going to do this. Right, it just needed a bit of force, but I just needed to see what I was doing, so it is now seated. I'll do that in a minute. Then we take our screwdriver. This is probably wrong. This doesn't feel right, just screwing them in one at a time. So I'm going to do 1, 2, 3, 5 turns on each. I don't know if this is the right way to do it. If it's not, forgive me. But it didn't feel right just screwing them all in. Just one by one, even though that's what it said to do in the tutorial video I was watching. 1, 2, 2, 3, 4, 5. I think we're making good contact because there's not even the slightest. Oh no, we're not. Yes, I'm glad I checked that. That would have ended in tragedy. That one. That one. Maybe I should have done it the way it said. I'm stupid. Right, that is sitting nicely. That one's more in than the others, so make sure that one. Let's do 2 next. 2, yeah, that's tight. 3, tight. 4, tight. Whew, nerve-wracking. Let's hope it works. CPU fan next, just down here. There we Again, I need to go in the way, so let's move over here. I can actually see what I'm doing. Right, pausing. Right, so we've got that in. Now all that really remains is to reinsert this speaker, which I think goes here, wedges in there. And basically, yeah, from here, it's just doing it all in reverse. Essentially, that's what we're doing. So, but in theory, so far we've got the machine rebuilt. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put the basic components back in and back together. Like, so screw in the speaker, put the mouse and the trackpad panel, the kind of fascia bit, back on, and then do a hit and hope boot up and see if it actually boots up and what it says in the BIOS. So once it's all, actually no, I can do that on here. Right, what have we got? Keyboard, where is this? This is over here. Over here. I'm going to push this back in here, so we've got a mouse. Sorry about seeing the back of my head again. I don't know whether it comes across on the footage, but I'm absolutely bricking it about whether this is going to work. Because I absolutely hate when things go wrong with stuff like this. And it, there we go. Get that back under there. So I need this on to put the keyboard on. Let's just make sure that's lined up. There we go. Back together. Now we're almost at the moment of truth. Also, I said that I would show you how I installed the RAM. You just unscrew all the keyboard related screws, and then under this little flap here next to the CPU, you have one RAM slot. Oh, you can't see that. So yeah, you undo the keyboard screws and then one of your RAM sticks goes there. The other one goes under the back, like a normal RAM slot thing. That's really making me nervous. I think that's fine. So let's just stick the keyboard in and have a moment of truth, I suppose. Keyboard's not back in right. So yeah, I'm sorry if I come across a bit unprofessional. I'm actually really nervous while I'm doing this because I don't want to fuck it up, and I do want it to be good. Right, battery. Moment of truth, my friends. In the YouTube world. Lock the battery. Let's see if she fires up. Pray for me. Boots up. Thinkpad logo, okay. And, oh, it's gone straight into Windows 10. We kind of want to go to the BIOS. Well, that is a good sign. Means it works. Yeah, it didn't even. Hold on, not giving you my password, you cheeky snails. Alright, fan powering up. Super fast, quite noisy, but task manager, performance, still registering the same CPU. Whether they sold me the wrong one, perhaps? Or is it something to do with the fact that I didn't go into BIOS? If they've just sent me an i5, I'm going to be really pissed off. Really pissed off. Sincerely pissed off. That means this video is a washout as well. No! Yes! Right. Beast fucking mode. It just hadn't recognised the new one yet because it boots straight into the operating system. So we have Intel Core i7 3840QM, 16 gigs of RAM, 2.8 gigahertz base clock. Yes! Suck my balls. That's amazing. No way testing the so exit saving changes, so now it should update in Windows 10. So, it was a success! So I'm going to pull the screws back in, get it all built back into the machine, and then we're going to do pass mark and see what it looks like. Yay! High five. So it's all put back together and it is down here now in the dock, connected to this monitor here and my capture card. And I'll switch over to the capture card now. And as you can see, the capture card is looking a bit rubbish, but we have i7 3840 QM CPU at 2.8, and I know it turbos to 3.8. We're getting about 3 at the moment, 16 gigs of RAM. I removed my terabyte hard drive because I thought it might be interfering with Ethernet, blah, blah, blah. But yeah, basically there we have a fully working quad core 8 thread, as you can see, 1 socket, 4 cores, 8 threads, virtualization enabled, cache 8 megabytes and 1 megabyte and 256. So what we're going to do now is run passmark again. Hopefully it'll let us submit it differently, but regardless, hopefully, in theory, continue. So tests up here, we got all number of processors set in preferences is optimal for the system. No. So it's idling slightly lower by about 5 degrees lower, maybe about the same. So I might have to repaste. We'll see. I'm not sure if I did a good enough job there. But run benchmark. And there we are running the benchmark. And I'll probably speed this up or fade like I did last time, but that's what we're doing. Doing a little benchmarking. Mute my microphone too. So here we are with the results, and as you can see we're on 1627.6. So it's not like a huge improvement overall, but then again most of the components were the same, but we have gone up sort of 300 points in the overall rating. We were on 1331.2 before, now we're on 1627.6. If you look over here at the CPU, on the previous one I can just see from the old footage that was 2909, and we are looking at 4293. So we've gone up. Oh, my mouse is disconnected. That's annoying. We've gone up about 3000 on the CPU. Anyway, so that's the whole point. Anyway, the laptop. I'm going to submit this. 1 second. Sorry, yeah, I cut off there, but I was going to just submit this. Upgraded CPU. And why not? Laptop upgraded. So that's the general result. We've gone from like down here to up there. So it's still weak in terms of world perspective, but comparison to, how do I, oh, I didn't actually follow through with the thing. Anyway, yeah, basically it's made quite a big difference on the CPU score. Obviously the overall laptop is still relatively weak in comparison to the majority of the world. So that is basically what I set out to do for this section of the video. I'm contemplating the overclock to 4 GHz, but I'm going to just do a little bit more research, and just a few little bits I need to do. So I'll either be back with part 2, or this video will have a part 2, depending on how long the total video is so far. So I'm thinking of overclocking this to 4 GHz clock, or maybe even 3.6 or 3.8, because it turbos up to 3.6. But I don't know what kind of thermals I'm going to be getting, so I really need to just be thinking about, and this doesn't show heat I don't think, but yeah, I need to be thinking about like how much I'm going to destroy this by overclocking it. So I'm going to do a bit more research into that, and either see you in part 2 of this video or part 2 of another video. So I've been TechDave. If not, yeah, I'll thank you for watching.